These are 10 things that I never scrimp on for my health, and honestly, they've made all the difference. I used to think that you could get away with spending less on your health, but I was seriously wrong. I realised I was paying for stress, fatigue, and constant setbacks, which isn't worth it. If you're trying to live well for less and prevent burnout, prevent stress, and honestly look after your health and well-being, these tips will really help you guys. So number one, whatever you put into your body as a teenager, your 20s, your 30s, if it's all bad stuff like fried food, milkshakes, burgers, takeaways all the time, of course, inevitably, that's going to affect you in future years. So it's really important to never scrimp on good food. It's okay to eat out every now and again, okay? Go to a sushi restaurant, go get yourself a nice curry, right? But the majority of the time, I never scrimp on cooking good food at home. I make sure that I have good proteins, vegetables, fruit, that I mix it up and have a variety of different nutrients in my diet. So I never scrimp on spending money on groceries. Yes, it's okay and important to have a budget when it comes to food, but it doesn't mean that you have to eat a load of rubbish and be an absolute cheapskate and actually affect your health. So make sure you're eating whole foods, looking after yourself in that way, and eating right. Because if you're trying to save 10 pounds here, 20 pounds here, but you're not eating, a whole subsection of nutrients there, it's really going to affect you. And to supplement where needed. So that's point number 2. So I have a multivitamin pretty much every day. Sometimes I forget, let's be honest. But I think it's really important, especially because of my really light skin. I don't go outside in the sun that much because I burn, right? I'm Irish. But I always make sure I take a vitamin D tablet for myself because I know it's important for my bone health, to absorb calcium, and actually to improve my health in the future. There's been lots of studies on vitamin D, so if you're not sure about them, do check them out on proper medical websites. The majority of the nutrients that we put into our body, we should be getting from food, okay? But if you feel like you are deficient in iron or something, make sure that you supplement that because you will feel so much better within yourself. Does anyone take multivitamins here? And if so, what brands do you use? Is it very expensive, or have you found that the own label versions are absolutely fine instead? Number 3 is tap water, okay? I live in the center of London. It is very strange out here, okay? There is a lot of pollution, and I'm not totally sure if my tap water is okay because I live in a building from the 60s, okay? Is there copper in it? Is there lead? Who knows? So for me personally, I have filtered water. I have one of those Brita filter thingies, and I buy one of the filters very regularly. And yeah, they do all add up and it can be expensive, but for me it is important to make sure that I have at least filtered water. And when I go out, I sometimes buy bottled water, but honestly the filtered Brita one is totally fine for me. I'm not that much of a snob with tap water, don't get me wrong. If I'm going into a restaurant or something, I will of course just drink the tap water, no bother. But as I've gotten older, and this one time kind of freaked me out when I had the plumber come by and he was undoing some pipes under the sink, and the amount of crazy gross gunk that was coming from the pipes, I was like, what? I drink from that tap, that's crazy. So do you guys use filtered water, or are you just like, nah, the tap water's grand? For me, it's okay that I spend money on that because it's kind of important to me now at this stage. The next tip is to do with not only your feet, but also your back. Invest in comfortable shoes, okay? I used to all the time, again, when I was a teenager, go into Primark, no offense Primark, and buy those really cheap pumps for like €3, €5. I'm from Ireland, so we had euros, okay? And honest to God, they'd be so flat that you'd be sliding around the place when you're walking in them. So now, as I'm in my 30s, I make sure I spend a decent bit of money on good quality shoes. I am a little bit alternative, I suppose. I like Doc Martens. I've always loved Converse ever since I was 16, but these are still really good quality shoes because the Doc Martens are leather shoes. The shoes that I do wear to the gym, the Adidas shoes, they do have very good support in them. So don't be afraid to spend money to look after your feet because it also will look after your back, your posture, and everything like that. So don't be scrimping on really cheap ass shoes. The next tip may divide some people, and honestly, I was really thinking about it before I did the splurge. But honestly, I really wanted to look after my body and my health, so I did it. And it was buying a really good quality mattress. I'm talking, I paid £600 for my mattress. And honestly, I don't regret it one bit. It is, honest to God, the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in my life. So I would never again buy a mattress from IKEA. No offense to IKEA, I know they have improved over the years, but initially I did buy the cheapest IKEA mattress I could find when I was very poor as a student, okay, right? And it just hurt my back with every movement, right? You could feel those springs, any way that you were lying on it. So now I'm so glad that I'm looking after my back. I honestly sleep really great, and sometimes it's hard to get out of bed because it's so darn comfy, okay? So do you guys always spend a lot of money on a mattress? What's the most you've ever spent? It's really important, of course, to still have budget. You know, I'm not talking about thousands and like £10,000 on a mattress. Like, no, like, don't be conned by that craziness, okay? You know, just make sure that you read reviews before you buy mattresses, understand the warranty, understand the guarantees, and are they actual quality, or are they a little bit, you know, of a fad or whatever, you know? But this is the brand that I use. I'll share it here. If anyone is in the market of moving house and they need a mattress, I would honestly God swear by these. I love it. In fact, I wish I could have two so I could kind of sandwich in between them. They're so good. The next tip is something that not a lot of people talk about, and it's important to share our view on it, and that's mental health. For me, I personally go to therapy and have done for the last few years, but to me it's really important to look after our mind, our body and our soul, okay guys? So if you're really struggling, it's important to reach out to a professional, and even if you're not struggling and you just want to talk to someone who's a third party, okay, and someone who has no connection to your life, and just to talk about your feelings that way, I found it's really helped me a lot so that I can move on in my life in a productive way. Because if we're always sitting in our own thoughts, sitting alone, you know, going over all of our thinking and all of our thoughts by ourselves, it can often make it worse. So do what's best for you. So I definitely don't scrimp on that. It can cost a lot of money, but if you don't have money for a therapist or to go to therapy, right, you can of course journal, which I do the whole time. All you need to do is get yourself a piece of paper, right? Sit down for half an hour and just write what's on your mind, write how you're feeling, and you'll be really surprised about what actually comes out. Because a lot of it is in our subconscious somewhere way out the back up there, okay? And when you get a pen to paper, it'll all just flow out. So if you can't afford therapy, there are other ways you can do it. It's good to get out in fresh air. If you live alone especially, don't be sitting in that, you know, depressive state alone. That can often make it worse. I am not a therapist, I am not a medical professional, so look into it for yourself if you're feeling any sort of way. And there's no amount of money that you could put towards your mental health. It's really important to look after it and to look after your future self. The next one then kind of goes hand in hand with the previous point, but it is exercise, because exercise will release endorphins and make you boost your mood, okay, and feel a bit happier. Now, I've spoken about this before. If you're paying £100 a month for a gym membership but you never go, that is another story, because that is a waste of darn money, okay? So if you never use it, cancel the damn thing and maybe do some exercise at home, maybe walk to parks with friends, maybe do a dance class instead. Mix it up and see what you like. It's maybe that you don't thrive in a gym environment and maybe you need to go to a dance class and have a bit of a high tempo exercise instead. For me, I loved yoga and now it's about £150, which is a little bit outside of my budget of what I wanted to spend for the gym. So I don't go to that yoga studio anymore and I've changed to Pure Gym, which is £37 a month. Hello, so much cheaper. Do I go as often? No, let's be honest. I used to go to yoga like 3 times a week sometimes, and now I probably go like once or twice a week to the gym because I just really enjoyed the yoga. So for me, I am actually thinking of going back to the yoga studio. Yes, it is more expensive, but if it means that I'm actually exercising, I'm actually enjoying the workouts in an environment that is familiar and that I really like and is calming, then it's worth it. So it's important not to scrimp on exercise. But if you have a gym membership and you're never ever using it, cancel it and just do something else with the money, please. It's a waste. The next one some people can be afraid of, but there's no need to be afraid, okay? It's the dentist. We don't want to go, let's be honest. Every time we get that text or email from the dentist to be like, your annual checkup is, due, we're like, oh no. But honestly, I try not to ever scrimp on the dentist. I am pretty lucky. I go to an NHS dentist here, and I think the annual checkup is about £30, which is really, really good. And in that, they check your teeth health, and then they would usually recommend if I need to go to a hygienist, which can be kind of expensive. But I always go, to be honest, because there is a lot of links between your teeth health and your heart health. So if you don't look after your teeth, you could be affecting other parts of your body. And let's be honest, no one wants to have a tooth pulled out in their older age. No one wants those really gross, rotten teeth, okay? And this is where sinking funds come in great. For me, I have a health sinking fund for myself. So every now and again, I will add £10 a month into the sinking fund. So at the end of the year, I will have maybe £100 to maybe go see a hygienist and maybe get a health checkup for my teeth. So it doesn't cost a lot of money when you save a little bit every month, okay? And you can prepare for it so it's not a big surprise to your bank account. The next one is pretty new. I probably started it like 6 months ago. So I'm still fairly new on it, but I think I will continue on the journey, and it's private health insurance. I recently had to go through the NHS for this quite long-winded injury that I had, which honestly, they didn't deal with it in a very good way. And I felt kind of freaked out that, oh my God, if I had any big health scare in the future, I don't really want to have to queue up for 12 hours in A&E to get seen by a doctor. So that's when I decided to get private healthcare, and honestly it is expensive. Like, I pay £170 a month, but within that they do have online doctors, so I can pick up a phone and have a one-to-one consultation with a doctor over the phone, which is great. And if I need to see a specialist, it's London, so there's lots of specialists everywhere. So honestly, I think it's worth it. It is a lot of money, of course, but honestly, peace of mind, you can't put a price on that. So I will definitely continue with it, and hopefully, touch wood, I never have to use it much. But if I do have any sort of injury or anything, I can just get seen pretty much straight away, which is great. The next one is time off to rest. A lot of the time we are busting ourselves at work, right? And it can lead to burnout. Especially if we don't have money to go on an actual holiday. It's really, crazy at work, but it's really important to take time off every now and again, even if all you're doing is sitting at home, having a cup of tea, reading a book, and that's your day off work, okay, on a Monday. It's important to have these times to reset. It will help your mind, help your body, and slow everything down. You don't need to go on a holiday to book a day off work. If you just take time off to look after yourself, maybe see a friend. If you're an introvert, just stay at home. I love those days where I get to just do nothing and just be, okay? Even if it's unpaid time off, no one wants to have this situation, okay, where we're not really sure how much we're going to be paid in the week because we've taken time off. But if you're really going through, a mental struggle, a physical struggle, if you've had an injury, it's okay to ask for time off. For me, for example, when I had that injury a few months ago, I had to take time off work, and yeah, it did suck because you feel really guilty, of course, but it's important to look after yourself, because if you try and push through when you have an injury or you've got something going on, you can of course break yourself further, have burnout, have more stress, and then of course you might need more time off in the future to, counteract all that. It's okay to say, hey, I need some time off. I'm stressed up to my eyeballs and I just need some time to reset. So look after yourself and don't be so hard on yourself, Give yourself a little bit of grace, give yourself a little bit of time to recover, and then get back on the road again. It's all good. What are the things that you guys never scrimp money on in order to look after your health? Let me know down below if I've missed any key ones that you guys always do, because I always read your comments and I love hearing what you guys have to say. Even recently, right, someone said that I should switch from my plastic water bottle to a glass bottle, and look, I have, okay, I've gotten this glass bottle from Amazon, and honest to God, it's so good, because my last one, it was tasting so much like plastic. It was starting to freak me out, and now I'm really moving towards more glass things. I feel all the better for it, and honestly, I drink loads from this. It's so satisfying to carry around a little glass bottle. You feel so bougie. So thanks for all your comments. I love reading them, honestly. I'm going to pop this video here because I think it will help you guys out on your health and wealth journey. If you have any other video ideas, let me know down below, and I'll of course do a video on them. But thanks guys, until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.